My entire 40s, all the way to 50, I was just a nightmare. It was horrible. Looking back, that's why my heart goes out to anyone going through it, because I know how miserable, absolute misery. Hi folks, it's Teresa from Stringfield Ridge Farm. So today I want to talk about a subject that is really been weighing on my mind, and it's something that I have been through, but I'm done with now, and but it's weighing on my mind because I know a few people who are going through it, and I remember the agony of going through menopause. So menopause is when a woman reaches the end of her reproductive years. So that means, most of you know, that means that a woman stops having the monthly cycle, and it begins to stop having the monthly cycle. Some of it is pre or peri-menopause, and then you go into full-blown menopause, and then you have a little period of post-menopause. So, of course, the years of full-blown menopause is the absolute worst. It's agony. It is very hard, bad times in a woman's life. And you may not even realize it till later, like me. Like, I've already been through it, and now looking back and looking at people that I know and love going through it, I'm just heartbroken for them because I know the pain and agony. And I'm going to talk a little bit about that, about what I went through. And so menopause is physically and emotionally painful. So I went through menopause early in life, earlier than most people do, because I had a full total hysterectomy, and I had already had 5 children. So I had 5 daughters. And then at 40, I had a total hysterectomy, and it threw me into menopause. Now, the first year wasn't too horribly bad, bad enough. So I'm going to assume that was kind of a peri-menopause. But then I went through, mine lasted 8 years. I went through 8 years of absolute agony. And my symptoms, and maybe not everybody has the exact same symptoms, and some have some symptoms worse than others. Probably my worst thing was my mood. I was absolutely a mess. I hated everyone. That's how I described it. I just felt like I hated everybody, including myself. I hated my family, my friends. I didn't want friends. I didn't want friends. I was just a grouchy, bitter mess. And I was depressed. Like I said, I hated my own self. I was depressed. My mood was just absolutely horrible. And nobody could hardly stand to be around me. And that lasted pretty much 8 years. I mean, maybe, and there were swings of it. Maybe I was a little better a few days, and then maybe I'd go through several days of just nobody could stand to be near me, And that was fine with me because I couldn't stand to be near anybody else either. So, there's also the hot flashes where you just, it's just miserable. You're just so hot just middle of winter. The middle of winter, you could go out and lay in the snow and still be hot. And night sweats, you just sweat at night profusely, throwing the covers off, and then you've sweated, so you get cold again maybe and jerk the covers back on, and then you're hot again and you throw the covers off, and you can't sleep good. I still don't sleep real good. I have to take herbal things to help me sleep most of the time because I just don't sleep good. I never have, or ever since menopause I haven't. So anyway, let's see what else. Depression, hot flashes, night sweats. There's other things. Different people go through different symptoms, and those were mine. The ones I've mentioned were what all I went through. Probably, like I said, the worst was probably my mood, because I was absolutely a nightmare to be around. I know I was now, but when you're going through it, you don't see it so much. You see, you know you're irritable, you don't want to be around anybody, and you're having hot flashes and night sweats, so you kind of figure out that you're going through menopause, But so when I first started having bad symptoms and told the doctor, they put me on something, some hormone replacement something. I don't remember what now. I didn't stay on it too long. I had heard bad things about it, and I don't like to take a lot of stuff anyway. I like natural herbal things and natural things. So I did get on it for a little while, and then I got off of it, and I was horrible again. It did help some. I'm not going to say it completely helped me. It helped some. And then when I got off of it, you could really tell how much it was helping me, because then I was just a nightmare again, So the hormone replacement does help, but I'm going to read out of one of my favorite herbal books, is The Green Pharmacy by James Duke. And now this book is older, so maybe they have found some better ways since this, but he says in here, talking about the hormone replacement therapy, and he says, I know a naturopath who is very opposed to hormone replacement therapy and instead recommends eating lots of vegetables and legumes that are high in phytoestrogens, which are estrogen-like compounds. He says if you add up all the warnings, cautions, contradictions, and side effects, the number comes to well over 100. My friend is amazed that any physician would prescribe hormone replacement therapy, but the mass majority of doctors do. So I guess there are other things. There's other ways now, and I know there are supplements on over the counter for hormone replacement, but like I said, I like to do natural. So he mentions, he mentions some of the different herbs for this. The ones he mentions is black cohosh. We're going to talk about some of them a little more. Black cohosh, licorice, alfalfa, chasteberry, red clover, which we'll talk more about, strawberry, and other foods containing boron. Assorted other herbs, and foods that contain phytoestrogens like apples, celery, dates, elderberry, false unicorn root, fennel, sarsaparilla, lady's slipper, Mexican wild yams, passion flower. Now, passion flower, me knowing and studying passion flower, I can tell you that the reason he lists passion flower is because of the mood, the nerves. Passion flower helps with nerves and the nervous system, and it helps you sleep. So that's probably why passion flower is on there. I do make a passion flower tincture for Lee. I also dry some for tea, but I make Lee a passion flower tincture because it's supposed to help with the nerves, and he has the essential tremors, and it helps that. And it's also supposed to help Parkinson's disease. So there you go. There's some of what Dr. James Duke has to say about it. And I have another book here I'm going to talk about in just a minute. So the red clover. The red clover is high in the phytoestrogens to balance the hormones. So some of the other things that we mentioned, St. John's wort helps with the mood. Black cohosh helps with night sweats and hot flashes. And he talked about those. Let's see what else. So some of these things help with some of the symptoms. Like some of the things help with depression or the hot flashes, or the, whatever, night sweats, hot flashes. But any of the phytoestrogens that he mentioned and that I'm going to mention, red clover being a very big one, those actually have the estrogen that helps replace the estrogen. It's actually helping with that, like what you would get at the doctor for the hormone replacement therapy. So instead of just being for some of the symptoms, it could actually help overall, So red clover is a great one. Let's see. There was another one, flaxseed. Flaxseed has a chemical that is similar to estrogen. So flaxseed is a really good one. And Korean red ginseng. But with the Korean red ginseng, you have to be careful with that if you have diabetes. If you're diabetic, you have to be careful with ginseng. So I had taken a few notes when I was reading through this. I started going back through this, like it's been years since I had mine. I went through my menopause from the age of about 41 to almost 50 if you count peri and post. Probably my entire 40s. My entire 40s all the way to 50. I was just a nightmare. It was horrible. Looking back, that's why my heart goes out to anyone going through it, because I know how miserable, absolute misery that it was. So now knowing people who are going through it, even just starting to go through it, my heart breaks for them. So to those people, to those women that are going through it or fixing to go through it, get help. That's all I get help. Whether you go to the doctor and get something, I'm not into that because I like natural stuff. But whether you go to the doctor and get something or you use some of these natural herbal things, and there's some things too, not just herbs that we'll talk about. But whether you go to the doctor and get something or you try some of these or both, if you go to the doctor and get something, you want to let him know what of this you want to use, because some things you can't do both. So I have seen certain herbs that cause certain medications to not work properly. And so that's something you want to check into. If you are going to do the doctor route, make sure that he knows what else you want to try. He may not know. You may have to do the research yourself. Don't forget that. You can look it up yourself. Look into some good herbal books or some good herbal videos by reputable people that could help you figure that out. So, like I said, red clover is one of the number ones in my book. Here's a few others. Is maca, M-A-C-A, maca is for depression. Lemon balm is a great one, and I make a lemon balm tincture that I use to help me sleep. And it's also for anxiety and depression and stuff. Lemon balm, and that's an easy one. You can grow lemon balm so easy and make your own teas and tinctures, and that helps with any depression, anxiety, all of that. So now this one, and I want to kind of reiterate something I said. If you are about to go through menopause or you are in menopause, please get help, because it is so miserable. And it's not only miserable for you, it's miserable for everybody around you. Everybody around you is affected by you having menopause. And that's the truth, the absolute truth. So please get help. There's times when I just wouldn't be around anybody because I knew I was miserable and I knew I was making people miserable. So I would just stay in my house and tell people not to come over. I really did that. I did that. I told people, don't come to my house. Get away from here. Get out of here. I don't want nobody around. I was miserable. It was horrible, y'all. So this book, I have a lot of herbal books behind me here that I've talked about before, and probably about every one of them has something in it about menopause. So if you have any herbal books, check in there, see what they've got to say. This is a really good one. I love the Green Pharmacy, but this one by Dr. Nicole Apelion is that The Holistic Guide to Wellness. And she has about 4 books, and they're all good. But this one has protocols. So it has actually everything, like a whole protocol of a sickness, and then she tells you about it and tells you foods to eat, things to do, herbs to use, the whole protocol. And I'm not going to be able to read all that because it's big and it's several pages here about it. 8 pages on menopause. So she's got a lot to say. So she tells all about menopause and about the bone health. The estrogen plays an important role in bone health. And when you're losing that estrogen, you are losing your bone health. It also messes with your libido. That's more post-menopause. And where was that at? I saw that somewhere. She talks about all the symptoms. Treating low libido. A decreased sex drive can be a stressful obstacle for those going through post-menopause. So it's more post, and she's got some things for that. A few things. Not a lot. Ginseng, maca, shatavari. Shatavari is, I have some of that. Anyway, so let's go back to the menopause. For the bone health, the emotional health. For the bone health, she talks about dandelion, hops, red clover, and red raspberry, and stinging nettle. I love stinging nettle. That's one of my favorite wild plants is stinging nettle. I use that a lot. I use it in my blood pressure medicine, and it's really good. Stinging nettle is just one of the best wild plants to me. And we have a lot of it growing behind our house, so I use it a lot. Okay, so for the emotional health, ashwagandha. That's one I've done before. I grew some ashwagandha, and I used that. I grew some ashwagandha. I sold some of the seeds, and I dug up the roots and dried and chopped up the roots and used that for a little while. And that was a lot when you can buy it. So now I have a powdered one, ashwagandha powder that I have bought. That I was using in like smoothies and stuff. And I haven't done that lately. Probably need to do that again. Let's see. But there's also caution. So here's a caution with the ashwagandha. Do not take ashwagandha if you have hyperthyroid. So, you have to watch for cautions and things too. This is a great book for all of this stuff. Adaptogenic mushrooms. That's one of my favorite things. And so then she goes on and on about all of the other symptoms and what to do. And this book has a whole morning, noon, afternoon, evening, and before bed list of things to do. So, everything to do in the morning, the noon, the afternoon, evening, and before bed. Wow. So anyway, let's see if I had any other notes. So menopause can last 2 to 12 years. I pray and hope that all of you only have 2 years of it. If you have to go through it. If you have to go through it, I hope it only lasts 2 years for you, because that would be amazing. I guess it's possible. The average for menopause is 7 years. And I had about 8. Yeah. Let's see. So some important takeaways. Some important takeaways is that your diet is very important. Your diet is very important, especially because you want to look for those foods that are phytoestrogen, high in phytoestrogen foods. And we talked about some of those. Exercise is important. And that's a lot to help you sleep and help your mood and the bone health. Sleep, getting plenty of sleep is so important. But usually I feel like if you're depressed, you're probably getting plenty of sleep, but they're talking about good sleep, not restless toss and turn all night sleep like I do. So I have been taking the passion flower and lemon balm at night before I go to bed, because I was taking melatonin, and I felt like I got to where the melatonin wasn't helping me sleep. Maybe I had gotten used to it too much and was tossing and turning again and all. So here recently, probably the last 2 weeks, I've been doing some lemon balm tincture and passion flower tincture and something else. I can't remember the other one right this second. I take the magnesium. Anyway, and so that has been helping a lot. Stress management. Stress management is really important because you don't want extra stress on top of going through menopause, Hydration. So here's something I didn't know. Here's one I didn't know, and nobody ever told me this. And even going to the doctor over menopause and researching, I did not see this before until I was researching this time to help someone out. And that is that hydration is very, very important when you're going through menopause. And so drink plenty of water. Something that my doctor has told me about my blood pressure and trying to lose weight is that for your water, this is what my doctor told me, for your water, anything counts as your water as long as it does not have caffeine or sugar. So I use flavored water. I use a lot of flavored water, and I get some of the packets and put in my water because I just can't hardly stand plain water. Now, a lot of times I just do lemon. I do a little lemon and sweetener. And especially if I go out anywhere, I'll instead of getting a drink with my food, I will ask for water with lemon, and then I'll get a packet and put in there. And I know we could go into the packets are not good for you, and the flavored packets probably aren't good for you either because they have the dye in them, and on and on. But I feel like it's better for me to use that and drink my water than to not do that and not drink my water, right? I'd rather drink my water even if I put something in it than not drink it at all. And I wouldn't drink it at all if I didn't have something in it. So just a squeeze of lemon. Cucumber is good in there too. I have took a picture of water and cut up a cucumber in there and let it sit overnight. And you can use some sweetener or not. And it's really good for you, and it also is diuretic, so that's good. So anyway, I think that's all I have for this about menopause. The main thing was the red clover, and my main point was to do something. Don't just suffer through it. And don't make those around you miserable. Get some help, whether it's from the doctor. He suggested, let me find this. Back in this book, he suggested that if you do decide to take hormone replacement therapy, use a low dose of estrogen, 1.25 milligrams a day maximum. Don't let them up it like they did mine. They did up mine several times, and that was one reason I just stopped taking it, because I knew this wasn't going good. And I thought, but when I stopped taking it, then I started having all the symptoms again worse, and I did go back on it, and then I took it for a little while again, because I was going through 8 years, remember? So I went on and off it. I went back on it because I realized it was helping, and I was miserable and making other people miserable. So I went back on it, but then I took it for probably, I'm going to say, a year. And then I decided, no, I don't want to do this. I want to do natural. And I just got off of it and stayed off of it and done the best I could. But I wish I'd have known more then about the herbs and what natural to do. And of course, back then, with the internet wasn't like it is now. You didn't just Google every little thing. There wasn't as much information out there then. There you go. Get help if you are about to go through menopause or you are going through menopause. Please get help. If it's going to be natural help, get you a couple of good herbal books or look online and find a good couple of good videos from some reputable herbalists, and God bless. That's all I know to say. God bless you, because it is miserable, and anybody I know now that's going through it, I just feel for them, and we'll pray for them. So thanks for watching. Y'all give me a thumbs up and comment and tell me what has helped you, so that other people in the comments can see what helped you maybe. Any information or suggestions or recommendations that you have, please comment and let other people see that too and maybe help them. So, and if you're not subscribed to this channel, please subscribe. So that's it. Thanks for watching.